Hello and welcome or welcome back. This is Kingaya, and today I bring you guys our monthly energy forecast, sharing significant vibrations, energetic influences, and how they are impacting our collective. If you're new to my channel, I am so happy to have you here. Welcome, honey. I'm very grateful for the opportunity to be of service to you. Who am I? I am a metaphysical teacher, Reiki alchemist, and shadow work coach, and this channel is my virtual classroom. This is our studio, our altar, where I share all my offerings and resources with my collective. So November, right? Um, this month is unfolding as a divine orchestration. You know, there's a lot going on behind the scene. There's a lot of hidden agendas that are working for you, not against you. Okay, and it's as you can see, it's like the unseen is aligning in our favor. It's time for us to trust the universe and setting things right behind the scene, and we should only expect the best outcomes, even if they do not arrive in your preferred timing. This month, we are navigating a retrograde from November 9 to November 29. Of course, we add a couple of weeks before and after for the shadow period. But the residual energy is like a waiting game. It feels like we're waiting, like this. There's a lingering pause, but yet we're so ready for what's next. you know we're so ready that we're feeling the weight of waiting. It's we feel that maybe impatience and overthinking may arise. The echoes of the past may show up, but let me tell you, they are not the indicators of the delay. Okay. The new energy that is sitting on top of everything is anticipation. On the shadow aspect is anxiety, because there's a fine line between the excitement and the fear of, like, what is it going on, what's really going on. And our nervous system is recalibrating, in order to handle the expansion. So all we have to do is to breathe through it, breathe through it, right? The anticipation, of course, means that something is coming, but the anxiety is giving the signs that you don't trust it yet. So on this month, it's time for us to learn the difference. Um, you're going to notice it particularly on how you're responding to silence and slowness, or things that require that you're patient or that you surrender. All coping patterns may surface, which is control and worries and overanalysis. And I want you to recognize them as signals, not as a setback. When they show up, don't feel like, oh my God, here we go again with the energy. No, notice them as a signal that there's something happening and you are aware of it. Your nervous system is aware of it. What you need to shift right now is how you respond, right? When I was doing the channeling behind the scene, there was this song that kept showing up, and it was the "How Deep Is Your Love," right? And in this context, it's more of like, how deep is your self-love? How deep is your faith? Your trust, your patience, love like a manifestation. How deep is the love that you're receiving? Because when you believe, you're deepening, the unseen. So the challenge is for you to maintain optimistic and hopeful and diplomatic in certain conditions when you don't have control. I want you to refuse letting frustration close your heart or disturb your vision, okay? Because growth is happening beneath the soil, even if you don't see it. We are embodying the Empress energy, which is nurturing, fertile, magnetic, receiving, and progress is very subtle, but it's happening and it's very profound. Okay. And Spirit wants you to know that you are protected, and that your resilience is active, and that you are equipped for this liminal space. Whatever feels like a challenge right now is actually sacred recalibration, and you have to honor that. How you're not going to be overthinking, you're not going to self sabotage, and you are not going to fucking interrupt the unfolding, right, honey? Expand your perspective instead, widen your view, um, wait for things to click into place, right? Before you jump into conclusions and go all crazy. As you can see, our collective, we recently has been, we have recently been reclaiming our inner fire, right? This is our personal power and our radiance. And this energy speaks of stepping out of the shadows and remembering your magic and embodying that confidence um, after maybe a period of self doubt, right? Or dimming your light. This is our immediate past. This is just, what we are overcoming is that you rediscover who the fuck you are. This is you knowing what makes you you, right? And the Queen of One reflects the embodiment of that creative leadership and the charisma and that sovereignty. And that's why you're manifesting whatever is going on behind the scene because you planted the seeds, right? But you have to lean on self trust and take charge of the narrative, so that you can magnetize the opportunities, you know. Immediately, right now, what we are navigating is harvest. We're tapping into the harvest and the refinement. We are the vessel, right? And this month represents the energy of independence and grace and enjoying the fruits of their labor in us, demonstrating our capacity to hold the manifestations that we landed, right? That we can actually embody what we claim, right? This is the energy of sovereignty, this is divine self worth, and this is gratitude. Those are the only energies that you need to be worried about this period. No overthinking, no shit like that right here. We need to avoid isolating, and call it like independence. Oh, I don't need nobody, I'm independence. No, that is isolation. True abundance is not just material, it's emotional richness and soul connection, right? So, the universe is inviting you to get out and play, right? Because the next phase is bringing spiritual awakening and a life review. You know, we are being called to rise, honey, and the answer is that our higher calling is right here, is soul alignment, is reckoning if you resist. You are being asked to listen to your higher self's call, to release the old self completely, and that's why this, the echoes of the past and past behaviors and old patterns may surface for you to identify them and walk away from them. Not to replay them again, to walk away from them, right? And this card signals liberation through acceptance and forgiveness of ourselves, and as the way to unlock our next lifetime, right? Full moon is calling for us to play with our magic. Candle magic is very much welcome. About speaking your truth, rituals that require invocations and recitations, right? Your voice is going to unravel the magic. For new moon, we're being invited to weave and create what we desire, but we need to sit on our feminine energy to make it happen. Okay, we're the weavers, we're the architects, we're the designers, we're the magicians, right? And this new moon is an invitation to do so, right? To do so sitting on your crown, tapping into the Empress energy, right? That is the clue here. You are ready to receive the rewards of your growth, the seeds, the fruits of your labor, and that you are ready to rise into your higher calling with gratitude, with grace, and unwavering faith. On the table, we have our Lantern Tarot Oracle. We have the Ether, Dark Ether version, and let's call for our shadow self, our collective shadow self illumination for this month to help you get out of your own way, and be patient. I think that's it. Like, do we need to pull this? The message is to be patient. Ah, oh my God. Okay, collective. This is like so perfect. What unattended wounds am I now ready to confront and heal in order to reclaim my power? Right? Oof, baby. You know, what is it? It's the inner resistance, it's the inner conflict. Do you feel, are you experiencing imposter syndrome? What expression of self sabotage is showing up? Because that's going to show you where your wound is. Okay. Mercury retrograde is here to make us re examine our beliefs, our narratives, and, all those stories and all the old crap that we keep telling ourselves, that inner critic, the negativity. How we're poisoning our own minds, and also it's time for us to revise and remember why that is driving our journeys. Okay, so this retrograde will not be there will not be a focus on rewinding or bringing shit back around for contemplation, or to test your ass. No, this retrograde will support refinement, reframing, and strategy. And it is a time to review, to revise, to realign, because the forces that are working behind the scene on your behalf are going to start to reveal themselves. Okay, or at least you're going to start feeling the movement. You're going to have that sense of what's going on, all that cosmic machinery and all those gears that are shifting in your favor. You're going to be able to tap into it. Okay, I believe that it is the universe way of handing you back the blueprint and saying, are you still building what you actually want? Are you ready for your calling? Because this is the time. So the real question isn't about like delays or disruption, is how can you prepare your vessel to hold what's coming? How can you hold your manifestation, your blessings, your expansion without leaking faith or sabotaging yourself or shrinking back into old patterns? How can you stay out of your own motherfucking way and not fuck shit up? Okay, did you understand that version now? The challenge now is not to is not to hustle harder, or to tap into self-sabotage. Is to stay out of your own way, honey. Don't over explain, don't over edit, don't over analyze, don't force clarity before it's time. Instead, just pause, listen, refine, and reattune. And it's also time to attend your wounds, to rest, and also invite healing into your life. Okay. Thank you so much for watching. King Gaia out.